Stop doing deadlifts. This one was highly requested. Deadlifting can feel very complicated, but it's gonna look different for everyone. I think that's why it's so common to struggle with feeling like you're doing it right. Just because you're not doing it like the person next to you does not mean that you are doing it wrong. We're gonna go over a conventional deadlift today, and that's a square stance. You wanna start with your feet about hips width distance apart, and you want the bar to be pretty much directly over the laces of your shoes. From there, you're gonna sit your butt back and bend into your knees. You're gonna need to bend into your knees more than you would for an RDL, but you don't wanna sit so low that you're turning it into a squat. Everyone's levers are different. You might have really long arms, you might have really long legs. Finding your starting position will be different for everyone. I would start with overhand grip. It gets heavier if you have a hard time with your grip. You can do a mixed grip where you go one palm in, one palm out, or you can use some lifting straps. Let your arms hang and just grab on right where your hands naturally fall to, because that's going to be kind of your longest position. The goal for your deadlift should be to keep a pretty straight bar path. You want the bar to move straight up and down. You don't want it to migrate out or really deviate from that one single line straight up. So with it starting over your laces, your shoulders should be slightly out in front of the bar. They shouldn't be behind the bar, because you're going to have a really hard time getting leverage there. If you're too far forward, you're gonna fall into your toes. So when we load up, you wanna take the slack out of the bar. So between the plate and your barbell, there's a little itty bitty space. Before you start, you wanna think about pushing into the floor and getting a little pull with your upper body at the same time, and you'll kind of hear those plates hit up against the bar. From here, you wanna just think about pushing the floor away. It is a pull exercise, but what's going through your brain should be push straight up. One of the most common mistakes that I see is extending through your knees before you extend through your hips. And what that'll look like is this. Instead of, there's a big emphasis in deadlifting on keeping a really flat back. And when you're learning, that's a really good place to start. As you get heavier, naturally you're probably gonna get some flexion in your spine, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You wanna just make sure that you're feeling good when you're deadlifting, and you'll notice that elite power lifters are not always keeping a completely flat back. But when you're doing your practice reps, when you're doing, sub-maximal efforts, keeping a neutral spine is a good place to be. There you have it. Now you can stop doing deadlifts.